Dear viewers, wherever you are, hello and welcome to this new episode of your program, Spectra. As they say, we are the sum total of the 5 friends who are nearest to us. And a friend, like they say, a friend is your friend till the bitter end. A faithful friend. It's a dream. It's something that we all look for throughout our lives. We all need a friend that we can trust, we can confide in, we can share our deepest feelings with them and our secrets. But unfortunately, such a friend was and is, and probably will always be, a very rare commodity. Now we're in the month of February, the month that is connected, in our minds, with the concept of love. Since, on the 14th, we have Valentine's Day, the International Day of Love and Romance. Today, we'll be talking about a specific part of friendship, or a specific kind of friendship. Friendship between people from different genders, from opposite genders. Is there an overlap between friendship and love? Should we befriend our lovers and love our friends? And if there is an overlap and there is this gray area, what kind of dangers can this gray area create for us? To talk about these topics and much, much more, I'm really delighted to be accompanied tonight by Odis Nasser, who is a master clinical counseling hypnotherapist. Odis, hello and welcome to the program. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So, Odis, to start off, let me ask you to just simply share with our viewers some definitions. What is friendship? Who is a friend?
The friend is someone you can bond with, someone you can trust, and someone you have. It's a social behavior where you can talk to somebody. That could be what psychological community calls a friend. It's a bond.
So someone you have a strong bond with would be your friend.
Yeah.
They are someone that you share many things and many ideas with, and so on.
Correct.
The second natural question is what is love, and who is your lover?
A lover would be someone who sometimes is your friend, but there is the sex hormones involved. So the difference between a lover and a friend is that between friendship, there is no sex. A lover where there is sexual hormones between you and there is a little bit more of attraction and lust. And that would be the separation between these two terms.
Okay. So friendship is just like a romantic love without lust, without the sexual component.
Yeah, but not necessarily romantic. The word romance may throw you off. The word romance means there's sex.
Okay.
Or some kind of physical attraction. No, not in friendship. But remember, they may overlap. Your friend may be your lover. Your lover is sometimes your best friend. So
we'll definitely get to this, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there is this term of Platonic love.
Uh-huh.
Love without lust, love without sexual desire. Does this really exist? Can we have something like that? Especially if your friend is someone who you know to be attractive, sexually and personally attractive. So they're not only they don't have a very attractive facade, just the surface, just like the body or the face are attractive, but even their character is extremely attractive too. Can you have platonic love towards such a person? Have love without lust towards someone that you think is attractive, personally and sexually?
Well, it depends which hormone. You see, I could look at a person, he could be completely attractive, or a person could be a woman who is attractive, but it just means that they're nice to look at. But for me to have lust, I have to have the chemical in the brain, like the testosterone and the other hormones, and to kind of kick in for me to have some lust, to really want to be physically with them. I need the dopamine, I need completely different brain activities and brain waves and brain hormones and transmitters for me to act on it. So from biology, there's different hormones, and these hormones can trigger the different feelings you get towards someone. I may find you attractive, but doesn't mean I have to want to be with you. Different
Okay.
desire, that's a different chemical reaction in your body. So it all depends what chemicals get triggered. What triggers the chemicals is what you perceive, how you think a lover is. It's a whole
And like, are these chemicals triggered like automatically, or are they induced? Like,
no, they're automatic. They're automatic.
automatic. Okay, so you have no control, you have no say about them.
Have you ever looked at somebody and like you felt that giggle in your stomach?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
what we're doing. That kicks in. And did you ever get your heartbeat like bumping when you meet someone for, on a first date and you're sweating?
Absolutely.
Your
Yeah.
your adrenaline coming in. But keep in mind what triggers this. Maybe because they always say you would end up marrying somebody like your mother, or I will marry somebody like my father. So for me, what I find attractive may be something that I've been kind of been conditioned to throughout my childhood. So I know I find certain men attractive. I don't find, no matter what. I mean, I would be with a friend of mine and she looks at a guy, she's like, oh my God, he's so hot. I'm like, ew. Like for me, I don't find him attractive at all, because for me, attraction is smart. For her, it's physical. It's us, it's human. Same thing with animals. Watch monkeys. Monkeys find one monkey attractive, another monkey not attractive. To me, it's a monkey. Biology.
Absolutely. Now, we talked about friendship, we talked about, like love and romance. How about the gray area between them? Like, do they have like clear borders between them? Like, is there a clear, checkpoints between love and friendship, or is there a very fine line between them, or a gray area where there's an overlap?
The main difference between the love and the friendship is the sex hormones. There's no sex hormones in friendship, but there is love. However, there's a lot of similar hormones that are triggered on both. The dopamine, which brings you happiness, it's in both. The serotonin, which is long-term happiness, it's in both. Couple of other transmitters are in both, but there is some that's only in love after a long term. Also, even love takes stages, different hormones in different stage. So for me, what I think is the difference between the love and friendship is the sex hormones. Sex, no sex. That's where, if you look at it from physiology, what happens.
So physiologically speaking, you think the sexual component is the basic difference between both relationships?
It's one of the basic differences, but
one of the basic differences.
One of the main one, because I can have a very good friend, but I have no physical attraction to them. It will not happen. Maybe we start as friends, and maybe a few years later, when there is bond and there is trust, the other chemicals start kicking in, and there is more trust, and then I will start to feel attracted to them, because there's stages. It doesn't really happen very quickly. It happens in stages. With some people, younger people, the stage is like one day. The lust and you know what I mean? But for mature people who have gone through it, the stage may take few years for each level to go through. It depends on where you are in life and how mature you are and your life experiences.
And how euphoric you are. Like if there's this euphoria, might happen overnight.
Exactly. Younger people tend to do that. We've all been young in our, early 20s, where we see somebody and we're like, oh my God, I'm in love. I'm like, okay. But as soon as you age, like after age 28, your maturity level in your brain is changed, plus life experiences changes. So you become more like, okay, let me find out if I can trust the person. Maybe you've been hurt. I don't know what kind of traumatic events you've had in the past where maybe there is a little bit of a limitation on how much you trust a person. Every person is different. Your life experience dictates who you will be attracted to, which chemicals get triggered. There are a lot of people who live with their spouses for 20 years and there's no sexual attraction anymore because that chemical is gone, but they don't need it. They're happy because the bond is there. That hormone kind of overrides the friendship or the sex hormone, but they're happy with it. It depends on what you need. Love,
Okay.
or trust, or bond, or sex.
So it's your need. As long as the need is satisfied, which varies from one person to the other, the relationship is there.
Correct.
Okay. So here again, we're talking about friendship and love.
Mhm.
Do you think that one of them is a prerequisite for the other? In other words, should we love our friends and befriend our lovers to have a successful friendship and a successful romance? Do they come one, like, are they a minimal pair? Do they always come together?
They don't always come together, but ideally would be great. I mean, the best thing to do is to fall in love with your best friend. Everybody tells you that. Having a best friend and then falling in love with them, usually these relationships last long term. And I have seen people who have been forced into marriage and they don't know each other, but with life experiences, they became good friends. So friendship and love is completely possible. It depends on how you are and how you respond to the person, because everybody comes with baggage. Everybody has issues. So how accommodating you are, how important it is for you, these little flaws, how important to you is trust. Maybe in the beginning, like I had a friend, let's say, for example, he was my best friend for 3 years, 4 years, and I've never seen him sexually attractive, but then something happened and I saw something in him one night and I'm like, oh my God, I think I love the person. Maybe I didn't even know I was attracted to him, but I needed to see that trust, or I needed to see an event to trigger something in me. And sometimes it just a click. It's all chemicals. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm so dry, but it really is all chemicals. Your chemical,
So, yeah, there is this spark that can sort of rekindle a feeling.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And nobody can control it. They say love is blind. I really believe that.
Yeah. So, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Really.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah. There are no specific criteria, like agreed upon criteria,
yeah.
for beauty or attraction.
You're
It's
right.
it's your call, my call. Everyone has their own opinion.
Yeah.
Now, again, still talking about friendship and love.
Hmm.
So, can your friend be a lover in disguise?
Yeah. Yes, the person can love you, but unable to tell you that they love you because of whatever circumstances they're in. Maybe I am involved with somebody else, or maybe they don't know that they love you. It can happen, but it's agonizing, I think, personally.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's
So,
feelings. We're human. I mean, our emotions really takes the most of it. The biggest emotion that actually destroys us is anger, fear, and love. Love is the third one. So if you love a person and you're not able to act on it, you will end up with having a lot of issues in your body. So yeah, it can happen. And there's,
so if you curb the love, or like you're not able to ventilate, like you just need to keep it inside you continuously, you're exerting a lot of pressure on yourself, and it might explode inside you. Instead of exploding outside, it might explode inside you and really hurt you
you end up
to
with
the
IBS.
core.
You will end up with IBS, which is one of the first things that's in your belly, and you will end up with ulcers. You will end up with a lot of long-term, you may have heart problems. Anything that you keep inside is not good. Anger, fear, but anger and love is the most destructive if you hold on to this and you don't release.
Because both of them are very extreme emotions. They take
They're very strong
a
emotions.
lot of us. Yeah, they
Yeah,
take a lot of us.
takes a lot.
So you say that a friend can be a lover in disguise. So in that case now, is it possible for me to have a successful marriage while maintaining an excellent friendship with a woman, or for you to have a successful marriage while maintaining a very good friendship with a man? Is that possible?
It is possible, but depending on the third party, because if I am married to you and we are happy together, but then there's an outsider who's my friend, he's a male, it depends on you, how you see this male. Is he a threat? Are you okay with him being a friend of mine? Because I will be stuck in the middle between my lover, my husband, and my friend. The problem is that I know how I feel. The problem would be the pressure coming from you. Are you accepting it? Do you have issues with trust? Do you have issues with other scenarios? You may be competitive. It's just nature that man competes with another man, a woman competes with another woman. That's nature. But the question is, how much trust is between me and you? Is it going to ruin my relationship with the female? It's nothing to do with me. The onus is on my partner to accept the other person. And good luck with that. Good luck with that, or come and see me. I'll tell you what to do.
Okay, so carrying on with this dilemma here, a follow-up question would be, okay, how can I comfort my spouse? Like, are there any strategies for me to make my wife trust that I have no romantic feelings towards my friend, or more important, that she doesn't have romantic feelings towards me? Because many times the wife would tell her husband, or the husband would tell his wife, he say, you know something, honey, I really trust you. I know that you love no one except me, but I don't trust your friend. I think that your friend loves you romantically. Can't you see the way he looks at you? It's not a way of a friend looking at another friend. No, it's a lover's, look. So how can I comfort my spouse and make her believe that it's just friendship, pure and simple?
If you are in my clinic, I would ask you, because you remember, you cannot control what the other person sees. Everybody sees their world differently. So the first thing is, I don't know if you are really seeing your friend as a friend, or maybe your wife or the person is correct. I don't know which one is correct. Because it could be that you're blinded, or maybe your husband or wife is actually just suspicious. So what I would recommend, it would be that you have a conversation, because no matter what you do, if your spouse is suspicious, no matter what you do, they will never believe you. It has to come from them. They have to believe you. They have to believe it themselves. So the onus is not on you. The onus is on them to trust themselves enough. And that only comes with life circumstances, life events. Because no matter how much you tell me that I am losing it, no, there's nothing between me and the other woman, until I believe it, until I personally believe it, it will never happen. So I don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe a situation will happen where I see a truly, your friend is not a lover. She is just a best friend. It has to come from me. So if you're in my clinic, I would probably want to have a conversation with your spouse, not you. Because you can never change yourself. You can never change what other people think. You can only change yourself. Nobody can change the other, right? So I have to work with your spouse to see what her issue is. Maybe she has issues with trust. Sorry, there's the cat is. So if you see anything happening behind me, let me know. I think
it's most welcome. We'd love to conduct an interview. Yeah. Hello.
That's not my cat. That's not my cat. Hi, Lola. That's my neighbor's cat. I'm sorry.
No worries at all. She or he are most welcome anytime.
She brought another cat. I have two neighbors' cats, and they're fighting. So.
Oh. Maybe it's a romantic fight as well.
No, they're the neighbors made sure.
Okay.
Yeah, there.
It's the mating season for cats anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even with cats, they have sex hormones, so they made sure we took care of that one.
So from cats to humans again. And there might be a lot of similarities, actually, because we're mammals. At the end of the day, we're mammals.
Yep.
a part of us is you know, we have a mammalian brain.
Yep.
And so what are the limits between me and my friend and my spouse? Let me explain what I mean here.
Mhm.
So I should really confide in my friend and in my wife. I should tell her, I should be sort of an open book, share everything with my friend and my wife. But is it wise for me to tell my female friend everything that happens between me and my wife, especially the negative parts? And is it wise for me to share everything between my friend and me with my wife, especially the extra happy parts? So
Yeah.
is it wise for me to say, wow, I had such a swell time yesterday with my female friend? And wow, yesterday she came, you know, like she was so elegant. She had a fantastic, you know, dress or whatever, so and so. Or is it wise for me to go to my female friend and tell her, you know, like my wife, she's stone cold, man. Like she's, you know, like we're our sexual, you know, like relationship is going down the drain. Is that a wise thing at all to do?
Well, I don't know how to explain it. Personally, me, not as a counselor, I don't tell my secrets to anybody. Nobody knows anything about my life because I don't trust anybody. I'm sorry. When you have an issue, it goes down to you, backs to you, because like I said in the beginning, that there is a hormone that triggers in us when we talk to someone about our problems. This hormone is like the same hormone that comes up when we have pain. It's an opioid hormone. So when we have pain, when we get like a shot to numb the pain, it's the same feeling you get when you talk to a friend that you trust about your problems. So you need to talk to someone. The question is, will the talking backfire? Because I don't know, if I am married to you and I tell my best friend who's a male about our sexual relation, few days later, my best friend gets drunk and he tells you what I told him. I don't want to be caught in this. So if the onus goes back on you, how much do you trust your friend? Can they hold a secret? Because it takes a lot of, it's not everybody who can hold a secret. But again, if you're having an issue and you want to talk to somebody, you need to talk to someone because you need that pain to be resolved. What I would recommend, talk to a professional, because as a professional, I would not call your wife. I will not, by ethic, we cannot even say hi to you if we see you in the store. I should not even talk to you as like I know you or I've been treating you.
So, but should there be some form of a sieve in like before we talk to a friend or to a spouse? So I should filter some things out of
I,
what happened. I shouldn't just say everything.
you know what, I would. I have friends that I've known for years and years, and sooner or later they're gonna backfire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my personal thing. And I've learned not to trust anybody. Plus, I mean, usually people come to me for problems and I solve my own problems. But that's just beside the point. I'm just saying that's my personal story. But for anybody else who's out there, it's hard to find a friend who is very close to you. And if you do want to talk to that friend, you just keep that in the back of your mind that one day things may get sour. What happens if? Because you may not want to be talking to a friend. Maybe if it's very serious and it's bothering, go see a professional. It's safer that way. It's just to be safe.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just safer. I mean, people, you don't know until you've seen both sides of the story, both faces, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's wiser to always talk to a professional than to a friend or to even your spouse. If things are really like, you know, bumpy, it's better to like talk to a professional who you can really confide in, and you make sure that the lips are sealed forever. They'll never share it with someone else.
I would, but it doesn't mean you cannot talk to your spouse. You have to be able to talk openly with your partner. But I do couples counseling. So when I usually meet a couple, usually the first session, both of them will come in. And the first question I ask before I even start the session, how much you want to fix this marriage or your relationship? Because if there's nothing there, they're both hating each other. I'm like, don't waste your money and don't waste your time and don't waste my time, because there's nothing I can do to help you. I'm not going to help you. You have to help yourself. So sometimes coming to have a third person come in, because it can give you a second perspective from an outside. When I come in from an outside, the first session is done between both of them to see what the issue is. The next sessions is usually one-on-one. But we try to help you as a couple to talk to each other. Every counselor will tell you, every marriage counselor will tell you, when you leave the session, you got to do homework. You go home, you talk to your husband, you talk to your wife, you have homework to do, talking about what you like and you don't like about each other, what you hate about each other. So it takes building trust again. No counselor have the magic wand. I do have one, by the way, in my office, that I do a magic wand. But in the end, it's the onus on the couple. But if the couple have nothing, it's like nothing to do. I'm like, don't waste your money. Just break up, because nothing I can do to hold it together. So it comes down to open relationship. Really talk to your spouse. If you have an issue with whatever it is, talk to your spouse. Why go and talk to your friend? Your marriage is something that's you should respect. That's what I'm saying in the beginning. If your best friend is your wife or your spouse, that's the best thing to have, because you can talk to your best friend and you can talk to your wife or husband, and they're the same person. But if you have a husband or wife and you have another best friend that you're talking about your wife, you need to rethink about what relationship you have.
Okay, several people actually in the modern times, and because like people, like there is the supply and demand, there is a huge discrepancy between supply and demand. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of competition today, and usually you'd compete more with people from the same gender. So a lot of people today prefer to have friends from the opposite sex or the opposite gender. They Yep. feel more comfortable with them. Is this a natural thing? Like, because some people might see that as odd. Like, as a male, it's okay to have a female friend, but most of your friends should be other males, not other females, and vice versa. But the number of people who are resorting to have friends from other genders is growing by the hour. I wouldn't even say by the day. Yeah. What do you think of this phenomenon?
I noticed when you said they should and you stepped back, because the word you should it's nothing. It's not a natural thing. The word should be friend with another female or friend with another male. It's just society putting in constrictions on you. In reality, you decide who is your best friend based on their gender, and society has changed. We no longer have male and female. We have 6 other genders that we have to consider. So society is changing and evolving. In the end, it comes down to you. Who do you trust? Which chemical in your brain is pulling on all these serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin? Which ones are triggering you? So it comes down to your childhood. Who were you trusting more as a child? Did you feel more comfortable around males? I grew up in a male society where my family is males, 2 brothers, my cousins were males. I was always surrounded by men. I felt safe around men. I felt safe with my dad. As I grew older, I always stayed with the older people. I didn't play with the younger one, my generation. So nowadays, I only have mostly male friends. I don't feel comfortable with female. I have some female, not friends, like acquaintances, but I feel more comfortable picking up the phone if I'm having a bad day to talk to my male friend. I don't know why. I don't feel comfortable calling my female friend, but it comes down to my childhood. It comes down to how I was conditioned to feel more comfortable to talk to someone. Keep in mind, that's my home life, but when I was in school, I was in an all-girls Catholic school. I was always surrounded by women. And I had enough of having females around me. Teachers were nuns and everybody were females. And no, this is no, this is no, this is no, this is no. I didn't like having female interaction because it was just the topics were boring for me. So in the end, I've been exposed to both. But in the end, I feel more comfortable with males. And I feel more comfortable with gay men and regular men and transgenders. It doesn't matter. And females and gay males and gay females. I get
So
the yeah.
yeah,
Everybody.
you might feel more comfortable with different genders, and like you said, like we don't have only like male and female, we have 6 genders today, and actually more. It's more than that.
Yeah.
We can really like, yeah, it might be 8 or even 10 in some people's opinion.
Yeah.
So is jealousy one of the reasons why you would prefer, and here I'm not referring to you as a person, I'm just referring to anyone, is might jealousy be one of the basic or the most important reasons why people might feel more comfortable befriending someone from a different gender?
It could be. I mean, it's a natural thing that we compete with each other, but it could be for sure. I mean, I don't know, maybe 2 girls who are best friends. One is more attractive physically than the other girl. If they go shopping, the ugly one, sorry to say that, like the less attractive woman may not want the attractive woman to be more beautiful than her. It's probably natural instinct. That could happen. I'm not saying it is, but it's not just the competition. It could be just the maturity level. Some girls, I've been invited to parties where I sat with women, and these women were just talking about makeup, and Instagram and shopping, and I'm like rolling my eyes because that topic doesn't suit me. So I went to the kitchen. I saw some men. They were talking about politics, and I really got engaged with them. And I spent the whole night talking to these men because I like politics.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean I don't like. I mean, I'm a girl. I put on makeup and I put on my hair and everything, but that's not something that I want to talk about all the time. As a woman, I still have my needs and stuff, but when I go shopping, I don't call my friend the girl to come with me. I call my gay guy. I prefer my gay guy. He tells it to me as a truth. He's better in fashion. He's better in makeup. He's better in giving me any advice. My best friend is gay guy, and I love him to death because even when I'm having a bad day, I call him and I get the answers from him. There's no competition. There's nothing at all between us. And he's very wise. He's smart. He's mature. So I think that's personal. But what I've seen, I do see, like, I'm very observant. So I naturally, when I go anywhere, I sit down and I watch people. It's part of being a therapist, I guess. And
Okay.
I do see the interaction between women, no matter what. I can tell who hates who is eyeballing who's looking at who, because naturally the nonverbal cues are all there. I can read the whole room when I'm sitting down because I have to pick up on these things. And there's always competition. Even males and males, females and females, it's nothing to do with gender. There's always, oh my God, I see couples sitting down, a beautiful single girl walking in, all the girls look at their husbands right away to see if they're looking at the girl. Another, maybe a handsome stud walking in, all the guys gonna look at their wives to see if they're looking, and they start to pull their pants and fix their between the legs, and you're like, oh my God, I start laughing. It's natural. Children do it, animals do it. It's natural.
Absolutely. It is natural.
My cat is jealous from the other cat. They fight over cat food.
Definitely jealousy is there. But I want to ask you, as a hypnotherapist, as clinical counselor as well.
Yeah.
Is there something like sometimes I think of these terms, but please correct me if I'm wrong from a scientific perspective.
Yeah.
Can we have a feminine man and a masculine woman? Meaning that the way I see it is that being a feminine man does not affect my virility. It does not affect my, sexual orientation. But I might have more. I might have a more feminine mental orientation, because sometimes, for example, some men might say today, manhood is synonymous with being brutal. So a man has to be a brute. He has to be rough and tough, and he has to always be so obsessed with sex, talk about women only in a sexual way, and I don't find that in me. And the other way around for women. Okay, just like you said, okay, so I just have to be obsessed with fashion and makeup and stuff like that. Yeah, that's interesting for me, but actually I'm more interested in politics and things like that. So can there be a feminine male and a masculine female? And that is why that feminine male finds himself more comfortable with women. And this masculine female finds herself more comfortable with men.
Of course there is, because it's all about conditioning. So I have seen a lot of ladies who come to my office, and I can't believe we are 2021, and I can't believe some women still say that. They're like, I am a single woman and I don't like it. And I say, okay, why don't you like it? She's like, well, I shouldn't be single because I need to be dependent on a man. I have to show that I'm vulnerable, because if I'm too strong, nobody will like me. I mean, I'm looking, but obviously I don't give that look, but there are women out there that they still project themselves to be as vulnerable because that's what they think society wants. If she's too strong or outspoken, she's too bushy.
And she
And
needs to be submissive. Like
yeah,
she needs to show that she's submissive.
exactly. And which annoys me personally. I'm not a feminist, but I'm thinking, like, doesn't mean you have to be weak to be a woman. And then I have seen men, and I remember something. Now you reminded me of something, Muhammad. When I was younger, I would never forget this. One guy was talking to my dad, and I don't know what the guy said. He's like, oh, this woman. And my dad was standing there because he knew I was watching. He said, you don't call her a woman, you call her a lady. I would never forget this because my dad had so much respect to women. He said, you don't talk to women like this. You talk to them as a woman, as a lady. You call her a lady, because he's like, listen, my daughter is sitting here. We don't want to. So my dad just kind of completely changed my mind about how men should be. It doesn't mean he's not a man. There's a lot of men right now who go to salons, they do their nails, they do their facials. It doesn't mean they're feminine. It has nothing to do with being a masculine and feminine. It's how you treat the other person. If you are disrespectful to other people, I have seen it from both genders. I have seen women when they see a hot guy and they're like, hey, mamacita, da, da, da. You don't do that. And I've seen men do that to females as well. It's not respectful. So it has nothing to do with being male or female. It's more how you respect yourself and how you respect others. But it comes down to how you were raised. Maybe you were raised in society where this is what is expected of you, to be a macho male and not to wash every day, and you gotta smell and you gotta have facial hair, which I find attractive, but you have to have facial hair and you have to do this because otherwise you're too soft and you're too clean.
I understand. Yeah. So,
and I have females who refuse to shave. They say, it's part of my sexuality. I'm a woman. I don't want to shave my hair. Which is good for you. I mean, it has nothing to do with you. But some women say, I'm still a woman, but I like to shave. It's the personal choice. It
so
has
personal choice and environment as well. Yeah. Environment and culture to play a role here.
Of course.
Another very important question is, like, although you might be romantically in love with someone and you marry someone based on love, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Like, even no matter how romantically in love you are with your spouse, does this mean that you'll stop recognizing beauty in other people? So, although you're romantically in love with your husband, you really love him, but will you stop recognizing a handsome man when you see one? And will I stop recognizing a pretty woman when I see one?
No, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but in love, there's like 3 steps or three stages to go through. Number 1 is lust, then attraction, then companionship. So it goes like this. It just doesn't go right in there. You have to go lust, attraction, companionship, different hormones, different chemicals in the brain. So if you go through the lust, which is the sex hormones, and then the attraction, which is the dopamine and feeling all that, like attract, and the adrenaline coming in. The last stage, which is the ultimate stage, sorry, I put my middle finger, let's say that the 3rd stage is the ultimate stage, which most people have been together for a long time. They have this. It doesn't mean this 2 parts don't, stay. They can still find another person attractive. I could be in a happy relationship. You can't stop beauty. I mean, you admire beauty in humans, in animals, and paintings. That's part of, it's a chemical that makes you identify with something that's beautiful. What matters is, are you going to act on your sex hormones? because we have seen couples who have been together for a long time and they no longer have sex after a long time, but there's still the bond between them. Sex doesn't matter to them. They're happy together. And I have seen people who have been in a relationship, they've only been there a year or two, and they're still hopping around and they go around and they have sex with other people. It's just because the sex hormones are always there. But how satisfied are you with your relationship that you have gone to the companionship? You need that oxytocin. That's what you need. The oxytocin comes after a long time. If you get the oxytocin, that's a long-term happiness. If you get this, nothing else will satisfy you. Even if you don't have sex with your spouse anymore, which we have seen people who get disabled and they get sick, and the partners stay together because there's that love there, the bond.
Companionship, like this is a stronger and more profound bond
and
than
that
just the sexual one.
Exactly. That relationship can happen also in friendship, by the way. It could be in friendship as well. The difference between these two is the attraction and the lust. So friendship, you can have companionship, no lust and no attraction. Love, you have the lust and the attraction, companionship. But again, it takes time. It takes time. Some people go through companionship first, which are best friends, and after a while, the lust and the attraction happens. It can go backwards, but you need that.
Okay, so how can I, like curb or like press the brakes, really, prevent myself from making a comparison? So, okay, I married someone and I'm sexually attracted to, I like her personality very much and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. But between me and myself, she was not my ideal, companion. But she was the best one available at the time. Now, all of a sudden, a woman walks into the picture, and then she's just perfect. Oh my goodness. This is what I've been looking for the rest of my, I've been all my life looking for such a person. And here she is at last. Mm-hmm. How can I prevent myself from making the comparison? And moreover, what if my wife is starting to give less? So when my wife gives her max, she's still less than this lady. But what if after a couple of years of marriage, things started to cool, to become a little bit colder than before? How can I prevent this?
Good question. That's what most couples go through. If you were sitting with me right now in the office, the first question I'll ask, tell me about your marriage, if you're married, or your first partner, because I need to know whether you picked that person. Was it arranged? Because in some cultures, the arranged marriage is popular, where they marry you off and they say, well, we hope that there is love after marriage. But in reality, love is going to happen. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to love this person. So I need to know first whether you married or committed yourself for, if you committed yourself out of love or you committed yourself out of social obligation. Once we know this, we do know you're going to go through the 3 stages. So I need to know what stage you are with this other woman. Let's say you're married. I know you have gone, maybe there's no love, there's no lust, but you're just kind of obligated to stay because your kids or your family obligation. The other woman, you have sexual attraction, you have lust for her. It's up to you. In the end, I don't give you the answer. I give you the choice. What are you willing to gamble? What are you willing to give up? Is it that bad in your current relationship that there's no way that's it? Or are you sure you're not just going through the first stages? And after you have fulfilled your lust, are you sure you're going to get to the next stage? So I try to reframe your reference. I try to reframe what you're looking at. So I'll say, are you looking at the lust or love or the companionship? Who's going to give you more? Because as humans, we're not looking at the 3rd stage. We're only looking at the first 2.
Okay.
So if you say to me, listen, my wife and I have been married for 10 years. We have nothing. There's no love. There's no lust. There's no companionship. There's nothing. There's nothing. I'm not attracted to her at all. There's nothing good. Like we try to go through the checkbox. Nothing is good at all. The onus goes back to you, because no matter what I say or you're going to do what you want to do in the end. If there's nothing, leave. I mean, that's
and like many times as well, like some people, in order to sort of give some kind of an anesthetic, or like to they would use a form of a tranquilizer or even a narcotic for
Yeah.
their conscience. So my conscience is really hurting me so much when I have these feelings towards this other woman. So I try to convince myself, hey, why am I feeling that bad? She's just my friend. She is just my friend. But unfortunately, by time, things would just go out of bounds,
Yep.
and we might end up sleeping together.
Mhm.
And then that's it. Like once you reach that stage, it's game over, really. Like
For who? For your wife or for the girlfriend or the
it's just a big disaster. Like it's an all-encompassing, comprehensive fiasco, really. I think it's double jeopardy. It's double jeopardy.
Well, keep in mind, Muhammad, when a lot of people go through this fight, I don't know if I ever explained this, but you know how the brain has the conscious part, which is this small, and your subconscious is this big. And this is where you're fighting, conscious and subconscious. This one has the love and all the emotions are here, and this is your logical thinking. Guess when you have the fight, who's going to win? Take a look at the picture.
The bigger party, of course.
The bigger part is going to win. This part is the one that's going to keep you with the guilt and everything. But in the end, no matter what, you can't stop love. If you love someone, you love them. Nothing can happen. Nothing, no matter how much you try to convince yourself, if you love the person, nothing you can do. You can live for the rest of your life living in misery because you cannot be with the person you love. But it happens. You may lose control and you end up sleeping with the person. And then the guilt will magnify because this one's like, you did this. It's like, but I love her and you're going through this. In the end, I always say the answer doesn't come from me. It comes from you. What makes you happy? Is there a way that you can live happy without having too many losses? If there's kids involved, how old are the kids? I mean, your happiness comes, okay, kids, okay, maybe the kids will be happier if you are happy, because it's not always putting the kids first. I'm not trying to say like kids are bad, but I'm just saying maybe you're having a fight with your partner at home in front of the kids. You have a very toxic environment. Maybe it's better to separate. And I know a lot of couples who have been living under the same roof, but they live in separate bedrooms. They have separate relationships, but in front of the kids, it's all act. But the kids are not stupid. They know.
Absolutely.
They know. So it's up to the couple in the end to make that decision. Ethically, I don't give the advice. If somebody has an ethical issue or moral obligation, I explain to them. In the end, you have to make that decision, because I don't want them to come back to me and bite me in the boom boom. So I always say, here's what you're going through, sleep on it, or let's do hypnosis. Maybe in hypnotherapy, you can get that answer, because in hypnotherapy, just to give you an idea, I numb your conscious mind and your subconscious talks to you. The subconscious will give you the answer. You will get the answer. So if you are torn between which part, come for a hypnosis session. I'm not trying to sell myself, or do it at home. Listen to your subconscious. See what comes up.
So like your conscience, might be playing a role of concealing what is in your subconscious mind.
Exactly.
And what you do in hypnosis is you just reveal what is concealed and make them see things for what they are.
Exactly.
Last but never least, to what extent does culture and religion affect the way you perceive or view friendship and love?
Well, it's been a long thing. I mean, I'm a history buff. I don't want to go through history, but the word marriage, contract marriage, that's only been around for 700 years. Only 700 years. Before that, there was no legal marriage. The word marriage was not even in dictionary. Before that, marriage was a girl and the boy, or the two people. They make a vow in front of each other secretly that, will you marry me? Yes, I will marry you. Okay, I promise that I will stay faithful to you. And he promises that he will be faithful to her. And that was what considered marriage, is that they have promised each other. But 700 years ago, culturally was impacted by religion, where the Catholic Church took over, and the Catholic Church said, okay, we need to make sure, let's say you and I are married, and if we have a breakup, then the problem is, how are we going to prove we were married if there's no contract? So between peasants and local people, the marriage contract was not needed. But if you were a king or a queen or a prince and princess, they needed that damn paper, because you want to make sure your kids are legitimate and you can divide the land. So the word marriage contract, it was nothing to do with love. It was more of a marriage contract, but we still keep it. Until now, when people get married, they still go to church and do the vows. The vow came from the previous, way before marriage. Why do we wear the finger here? In English, I don't know how to say in Arabic, الآب والابن والروح القدس, and you put the ring here.
Yeah. Yeah, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and you put the ring.
So you put the ring here. So it's all tied to
and it's even called the ring finger. It's even called the ring finger. Yeah,
exactly, the ring finger. But before that, they didn't have ring. They would wear like flour, or he will give her something. It's a promise. So yes, religion played, and of course, religion impacted our culture. But put that aside, put the religion part aside. Go back to each culture and the customs. We have some culture where like, oh no, you girls cannot be with boys. And I grew up in that session. I grew up in Kuwait, where I was in a Catholic church. I mean, I was raised in the Catholic school from the age of 3 till the age of 19. I was surrounded by women. My teachers were nuns and priests. Culturally, we were not allowed to play with men or play with having male friends. If I had male friends, they were my brother's friends, and my brother will be in there in the room. But then when I went to college in Kuwait, the first day in school, when I walked in the hall, there was boys and girls. I didn't know where to sit. I was not prepared for this. So that backfires on me, because the society sometimes puts so much limitation on us that it doesn't prepare us in the real world. Nobody knew 2 years later I would come to Canada, and then I would go to the university and then leave my parents' home. I mean, it was a huge culture shock, but luckily my upbringing put in the real plantation, like they planted the good stuff where I didn't do drugs and I didn't do anything stupid, because my childhood was good. I was raised good. But there was a lot of challenges I had for having too many restrictions on me. Life has changed now. Things have changed. Society have changed. We have evolved a little bit, but there are some society that still have they don't talk to their kids about sex. They don't talk to their kids about anything, arranged marriage, and they still believe in, arranged marriage and child marriage and the price on virginity and the price on the dowry, and it has nothing to do with love. Unfortunately, it happens all around the world.
Absolutely. And with this great note, I really can't thank you enough, Adis Nasser, for this great interview. I really thank you for all the great information you shared with us. So one more time, great thanks to Adis Nasser, the Master Clinical Counseling Hypnotherapist.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure, really. And dear viewers, just to, wrap up, to recap, to conclude, it really depends on perception and environment, really. Because friendship, like for a healthy person, you really need both. You need a friend to confide in, to share, your happy moments and sad moments with. You confide in them. But again, you need a soulmate. You need someone who is your full partner, someone that you fully integrate with, you become at one with, and this is your romantic lover. So you become not at one only in the bed, by your bodies, no, but it is sort of sleeping with that person is the pinnacle, or is the crown jewel of this whole incredible bond that connects you. So just like our souls and our hearts are united, finally our bodies will be united. But to fully understand that, it has a lot to do with the upbringing. So it's very important for us to raise our children in this healthy manner. A friend is a friend. Like, it's raise your children to look at people as human beings. A male or a female, yes, they do exist. So male, female, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, she-males, etc. But cross-dressers, all these, at the end of the day, they are human beings. Tell your child to think of people as human beings. And mind you, something very important. One of the major problems is that some people are deprived from basic knowledge. Like, a lot of people were opposing tremendously the teaching of sex in schools, or sex ed, sexual education. They thought that, oh, that's horrible, that's preposterous. This is something that should never happen. Well, guess what? If your child is not taught about sex from you as a mom or a dad, they're not taught about it in a scientific way in school, you know what? As they say, and speaking of cats even, they say curiosity killed the cat. And we are, as humans, we're curious creatures. Our curiosity, especially when we hit puberty, we'll start noticing different feelings, hormones, parts of our body are becoming different. So what's going on? Like, I'm very curious. And I will know by hook or by crook, one way or another, I'm going to know. If I don't know from my mom or dad, if I don't know from school, I'll start having my own fantasies. I'll start watching some pornography, speaking to some friends who might give me something that's not true. And then this will affect the rest of my life completely. Again, children would look at the way you treat their mom or their dad. Are you friends or not? Because for some people, no, like, my wife is my wife and my friend is my friend. I cannot befriend my wife or befriend my husband, because she was not used to confide in someone from the opposite sex. And the same thing is for the husband and wife. I was not ever used to have a female friend. So I cannot befriend my wife. I can't. I'm not used to something like that. So it is very important to look at what we teach our children and the way we grow up. And in a country like Canada, in a free society like Canada, in a multicultural society, in a secular society like Canada, you cannot force and impose these things on your children. You know, if you don't speak to them, if you don't reason with them, they'll not listen to you. You cannot force them. You cannot just slap them on the face and drag them by the hair. No, that doesn't work here. So let's watch out for these things in order for us to have a healthy life. Once again, thank you very much, dear viewers. Until we meet again, please take very good care. See you next time.